Okay, so I'm going to start with the square root ones first. Alright, so on the first one, like you want to do the fourth root of 81. Like you can do that in a calculator. Alright, so you're going to, obviously you might have a calculator that's different from the one you're going to be using, but it's basically the same thing. So you want the nth root, right? And you can type in the fourth root of 81. And of course you can see that it's 3. That means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81, so you know it's 3. And then all you're going to do is take each one of these exponents and divide them by 4. So like 20 divided by 4, and then 8 divided by 4, right? Excuse me, so that's going to be x to the 5th power and y to the 2nd power. So that's just reducing that root. Same thing on this one. Like, I know that 6 times 2 is 12, so I know that's going to be the square root of 12. But I need to reduce it. Oop. So I know that's going to be the square root of, oops. It's going to be the square root of 12. Okay. So your calculator reduces it. You can see over here that this one changed it to a decimal. There's unfortunately not a math print mode on this one, but yours will reduce it. It does reduce to 2 on the square root of 3. So just be mindful of, you're going to be in math print mode, so that's not going to hurt anything. So number 3 is like really easy. See how these roots are the same? It's the fourth root of 2x and the fourth root of 2x, like it's the same thing. All you're going to do is take your coefficients, the 2 and the 6, and you're going to add them. So 2 plus 6 is 8, right? So it's going to be 8 fourth root of 2x. Number 4 is the distributive. So when I distribute, like I do 7 times 8, and so that's 56. And then 7 times positive square root of 2 is just going to be plus 7 square root 2. And then negative 2 square root 2 times 8 would be negative, and then 8 square root 2. And then a negative square root of 2 times a positive, that's weird. Ooh, sorry, things being funky. A negative square root of 2 times a positive square root of 2. So a negative times a positive is a negative. And the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4, right? 2 times 2 is 4. So a couple of things. First of all, I know that this is really, really 2. The square root of 2 is, square root of 4 is 2. And on this one, kind of like number 3, like since these are both the square root of 2, I know I can actually combine the 7 and 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so 56 minus 2, right, I'm going to combine those. Write that 2 so you can actually see it. And then I'm also going to combine 7 minus 8, okay? So let's write down the answer. The answer for this one would be, so 56 minus 2 is 54. And then 7 minus 8 is negative 1, so negative 1 square root of 2. So that's number 4. So those 4 are the square root ones. Number 5, I'm going to go ahead and do number 5. And so you're adding them, right? You can see here that you're doing f of x plus g of x. So you're just looking at those like terms, right? Like I know I can see that negative, this is an x and this is an x, so I'm going to add them. All right, so negative 5 plus 6 is 1x. Or if you just want to write an x, that would actually be preferable. And then you have your just numbers, your constants, right? Negative 4 and negative 7. Negative 4 plus negative 7. So that would be negative 11. So we're just going to add. Number 6, 7, 8. And, oh wow, so a good chunk of those are logarithms. But they're really easy, okay? So remember the rule. And I'll write it over to the side. So log base b of y equals x changes into b to the x power equals y. All right, those two are interchangeable. So on number 6, you're changing from this one to that one, okay? So you're just writing log base 2 of 32 equals 5. So all you're doing, you're writing it in log form. And so 7 is that backwards, right? 7, I'm going from this form to that form. So 4 is my base, so it's going to be 4 to the negative 2 power equals 1 over 16. So that's all you're doing is you're switching back and forth. Number 8. So number 8, what I would do is I do this. Okay, so that's going to equal something, right? We don't know what that equals. That's what it's asking me to do. So what I can do is I can say, okay, if I rewrite it as an exponent like I did on number 7, 3 to what power is 243? Well, I know it's going to work out nice, but I don't know exactly what. So, I mean, you can always go to your calculator and be like, okay, 3 to the, I don't know, 4th power. No, that's 81. That's too small. So, let's try 3 to the 5th power. And that's it. 243, right? 3 to the 5th power. So, I know that question mark, that has to be 5. So, your answer for number 8 is 5. Because 3 to the 5th power, right, is 243. Number 9 uses the expansion rule. So here's what you're going to do with this one. So first of all, obviously 11 is being multiplied times p to the 3rd. And I know multiplication goes with addition. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate that, and it's going to be log base 3 of 11 plus log base 3 of p to the 3rd. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to do is separate the 11 and the p to the 3rd. And really the last thing you need to do is use that exponent rule, right? Take this 3 and it's going to move to the front right here. So my final answer for number 9 is going to be log base 3 of 11, right? That's going to stay the same. Nothing's going to change. And that 3 that was an exponent is going to move to the front. So it's going to be 3 log base 3 of p. So that's expanding the logarithm. All right, number 10. This one's all using your calculator because remember your calculator can only do logs that have a base of 10 or e. Obviously 7 is neither of those things. So what you do is I'm going to do the log of 40, right, just the regular log. You'll see I'm fixing to do it in the calculator, divided by the log of your base, which is 7. Okay, so that's what you're going to type in your calculator. I would use the fraction button. I don't know if this one's going to let me or not. So I need, okay, so I got to go to function. So obviously you have a log button, so I'm going to do the log of, shoot, I've already forgot what it was, 40. And then, like I said, you're going to want to use the fraction button. And then the log of 7 needs to go on the bottom. All right, and you're going to get a not nice answer, which is totally okay, so like 1.9. That's all you do. It's 1.9. So that's it. That one's all calculator. Okay, this one, there's supposed to be an arrow going right here. That will be on your test. So it's just saying, you know, how many degrees is that? And we know that this part is 90, right? That's 90 degrees plus 65. 90 plus 65. So the answer is 155. So you have to do on that one. On number 12, you're looking for the angle, right? Because this is the cosine of what is the 2 over 5. So in my calculator, I'm going to use that inverse cosine. So I'm going to do the inverse cosine of 2/5. That's what I'm going to type in my calculator. Again, you're going to have to use your green button. I've got to use my weird function button. So inverse cosine of 2/5, right? So I just type that in. Excuse me, you can see where it's 66.4. So the angle is, well, it said nearest hundredth. So 66.42 equals 66.42 degrees. So that's how big the angle is. Number 13, the area formula. The area formula is 1/2 times AB sine C. That's what we wrote down. Now remember the A and B, those are just your two sides. And the C is the angle between. So you see they give you exactly what you need. There's A and B. And obviously it doesn't matter which one is which. And then 65 is your C. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 1/2 times 36 times 36. Write your two numbers. Again, it doesn't matter the order because you're multiplying anyway. And then sine 65. Excuse me. So that's what I'm going to type in my calculator. So a half, 1/2, and honestly, you could use 0.5 if you really wanted to. Times 36 times 36 times the cosine of 65. See? And I get 273.85. Okay, so and there's 10th. I swear I had the memory of a goldfish. 273.9 is what that would round to then. 273.9, and it should be, I know it says meter, it's centimeters, so it's going to be square centimeters. So that's 13. Okay, 14, finding the sum. So remember when you find sums of matrices, you just literally add them together. Okay, I did not do this on purpose. I just realized what the answer was. So since this one and this one are in the same place, you're going to add them together. -2 plus 2 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus -7 is 0. I swear I didn't mean to pick this one. Usually you get numbers. Not that 0 is not a number, but this one was totally weird coincidence. So that's your answer. They're all zeros. But just add the ones that are in the same place. Okay, that's the important thing. Remember to add the ones that are in the same place. Good Lord. Okay, so the last one. Yeah, because I didn't put any statistics on yours. That's right. So to find the determinant, this is kind of like cross multiplying. If you remember, the rule was, I'll write down the rule. Like you have your 4 numbers, right? A, B, C, D, whatever they are. And you multiply A times D, and then you subtract, and then do B times C. All right, so you multiply, subtract, multiply. So for this one, I'm going to do -9 times 6 minus, right? So I did -9 times 6. And then I'm going to do the other way, -9 times -6. -9. So that way. Obviously, you're more than welcome to use your calculator. I get -54 minus 54. All right, because that's a positive, so that's a -108 is the answer for that one. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Please let me know if you need help.